Okay guys, no bells and whistles this time because I want to get right into it. That number there on the left side is actually the serial number for the North American version of Resident Evil Director's Cut. Now I'm talking about the original Director's Cut, not the DualShock version. The original, which came with a demo disc for Resident Evil 2. Now I bring that up because that's just one of the ways this demo pays homage to the original game. Now I hope that means we'll get a playable demo of the Resident Evil 2 remake that they're working on, but that may be a little bit too much to hope for. Sure would be nice though, Capcom. Be real nice. Okay, now I've been playing this demo since it came out last week, over and over and over again, trying to find every piece of the mystery that I could, and for that it's taken a while for this video to come out. I know there's been thousands of Resident Evil 7 demo videos popping up on YouTube now, and mine took its sweet time coming out. So for that, I'm sorry. Some of you have been waiting for this for a while, especially my fellow Resident Evil fans who are eager to see what I think of the new direction that they seem to be taking with this game. Well, I approve because it is the shit. It is every bit as terrifying as the original game was. Like the name of this video suggests, this game is going to remember how scary the original one is. I haven't just been playing this demo either. I've been trying to read every interview I could possibly find with the producers of this game to try and get into their mindset and see, what made them put it in the first person perspective, what made them go with this mysterious setting, and I just love everything I've heard and read. I'm really psyched. I was loving it. Go back and watch my other Resident Evil videos. I was loving what I was hearing from the Resident Evil team for a while now, and this demo just kind of vindicates everything I've been saying, because they got the message this time around. So many people hated Resident Evil 6. I mean, I didn't, but yeah, I admitted, it wasn't horror. It wasn't scary anymore. It hadn't been for a while, and the Resident Evil team got that message that people wanted them to take it back to the time when it was, piss your pants scary. Like that, right there. See? Yeah, you might want to go change your pants now. No, I'm kidding. That was nothing. That was just tip of the iceberg. But if you listen very carefully, yeah, did you hear that? I still don't know what that sound is, but that's just one of the many ways this demo messes with you, because there's not any combat in this demo. It really is similar to PT in that it's just a teaser. I'm sure you can hear some footsteps out there. It's just a teaser like PT was, and they just wanted to give you a sense of the atmosphere. Now, unlike PT, the actual finished game will still be in the first-person perspective. That's where it differs, and that's also the biggest sort of controversy about this new Resident Evil. I mean, I can already hear some of you, even I was a little bit like that. I mean, I was okay because this was instantly filling the void left by, of course, the cancellation of Silent Hills, but at the same time, I was a little worried that they might make this Resident Evil one of those games like Outlast or some of those indie horror games where you don't fight back, you just run away, and that just wouldn't sit right with me if this was going to be a Resident Evil game. Because to me, Resident Evil's always been about overcoming your fears. It puts you in these horrible, horrifying situations, and it does give you the tools to survive on your own, and you have to make do with the limited resources you have. And by the end, you're just ready to kick some ass and play it again afterward, because you already know what's coming. And those other indie horror games where you just run away, to me, those are not horror simulators. They're running like a bitch simulator, because there's no overcoming. They give you no upside. Yeah, they're nice and intense for a while. Some of them even have some really great ideas. Like, I did sort of enjoy Outlast. I just really hated not being able to do anything about my predicament, because at that point there's no point. And there are some exceptions. There are some games where you don't get to fight back, but in those cases they will at least give you ways to outsmart or outmaneuver enemies or slow them down. So there's at least that. Even Silent Hill tried it once. They tried with the Wii game, the Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which was a great game, but it was, you couldn't fight the enemies, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. But with the problem with that game was, when the enemies showed up, you had to run away, and you had to know where you were going. And if you looked at your map, you know, Harry did it on his smartphone, and the game doesn't pause, so there's no time to look at your map to make sure you know where you're going. You just have to run away and hopefully maybe get far enough to look at the map and then know where to go. And that was really what dragged that game down. Otherwise, that was a great game. So that dummy finger right there, nobody knows what to do with it. That's one of the biggest mysteries still to this day of this demo. Nobody knows what the hell to do with this dummy finger. It is the only item, well, besides the axe, but the dummy finger. Nobody knows what to do with it. And speaking of the axe, that is what told me. Actually, if you look at my inventory screen right there, you see those directional buttons, up, down, left, right. That's what told me there would be weapons in combat before I even confirmed it. But the producers have said, yeah, there will be combat, because that's Resident Evil for you, and they don't want you to be in a constant state of horror. But again, like I said, that's what Resident Evil's always been about. Right here. Nope, that's that's the wrong one. That one right there. Fight your fears and survive. That's the one. So ultimately, my final verdict on the whole first-person perspective thing is I'm cool with it. Because if you think about it, Resident Evil was always kind of flirted with the first-person perspective in the classic games with the door-opening sequences. They were great tools for creating tension. You didn't know, especially, obviously, your first time playing the game, you didn't know what was going to be in the next room. Were you going to need to worry about zombies immediately? Were you just going to be greeted by weird noises? But yeah, first person created that tension even as far back as the original game. And I know they were primarily conceived as a way to disguise, you know, loading screens. But you can't deny what they ultimately came to mean for the player. You just didn't know what to expect. And even in Code Veronica, they even built on it that way. When you reached a new area, sometimes you would just hear a heartbeat and the door would open slower than usual, just because, you know, the game knew you were getting to that area for the first time, and they wanted to really shake you up. Plus, the main producer, Masashika Kawata, whose name is very difficult to say, and whom I will be referring to as Kawata-san for the duration of this video, said that one of the things was we need to take it back to horror, and we have to strip it down to its bare bones and what made the original scary. So if you think of this as just one big door opening sequence, first person, this game does capture for a whole new generation of fans that feeling that we first had in 1996 of not knowing what the fuck was going on in this mansion and why there were zombies and things like that. And speaking of zombies, there aren't any in this game. No, they have replaced zombies with something far worse.
Welcome to the family, son.
Hillbillies.
Still,
And whatever the fuck this thing is, just watch.
We gotta get the hell out of here. Come on.
Now, does she remind you of anybody? Yeah. Reminds you of Lisa, that crazy bitch from PT. And I mentioned that the producers have said that this demo's not going to be part of the main game, which makes sense because I can't help feeling like I'm a member of Bravo team, and the main character of the actual game is going to find my corpse somewhere. Not to mention my videotape, which you do that in the first Resident Evil game, but also there's a reason they put this in the demo. Found footage will be a part of the actual game. That's been confirmed by the director Koshi Nakanishi. And that's going to add an extra element of horror, because if you think about it, you, the main character, is going to find somebody else's videotape, and that person who took the video is probably dead. So just knowing that the character you're playing as, because yeah, you do control, see, it took me a while to realize, oh hey, I can control myself, alright. Just knowing that the person you're controlling in the videotape is probably going to die brutally just adds that extra sense of tension and horror, which is going to be great. I can't wait. Now, I tried my very best to play this over and over again and find the ghost that's supposed to appear in this videotape, and she just won't show up. I can't find her anywhere. I even went on YouTube myself to find the different sightings of her. There's apparently like at least 7 sightings of the ghost, and she's there, and then when you look directly at it, she just disappears. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Maybe I need to do exactly what they did, but I got tired of trying, and I knew you guys had been waiting for this video long enough, so I said fuck it. But one of the things Kawata-san said was it's not going to be a ghost story necessarily, and I kind of believe him. I wouldn't be surprised if, because in this demo you only see the ghost in this videotape, not in the actual, reality. And if you think about it, historically, where have we always sort of sighted ghosts? We've sighted them caught on film and in a photograph. I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised if the creepy paranormal stuff just kind of shows up in the videotapes. Because again, Resident Evil has typically taken the science-based route to horror. There was that early build of Resident Evil 4 where there was Leon fighting ghosts and things like that, and it looked badass, it looked awesome, but it was sort of a departure for the series, and ultimately Shinji Mikami was like, we have to kind of keep this where Resident Evil's always been, which has been, more with science and not so much the paranormal. So because there will be found footage in the game, that tells me there will probably be more opportunities for this kind of thing, this sort of pseudo time travel going on. In this demo, you find that lockpick and you open this drawer, and there's nothing in there right now, but that drawer is locked in reality, and now that you unlocked it in the past when the video was taken, the drawer is unlocked in the present day, and you are able to get the axe. Now, watching the video reveals that there is a lever underneath the fireplace that you can pull that will open a secret passage on the wall to your right. And once you are done watching the video, you can go in there and get the back door key. But you can actually do that when you start the demo, but the key won't be there. What will be there is a table as you enter on your left that will have the fuse so that you can power the stairs that are on the second floor. And that will lead us to the other great mystery of the demo, which is the room upstairs with the ringing phone. A lot of people have said that it might be Ada Wong, from series fame. It sounds like her. I can tell you that much. Oh, and you can use the axe to destroy the mannequin upstairs and the boxes, but the mannequins on the bottom are invulnerable to everything, apparently. But here's this picture, too, with a chopper with an insignia on it that we all know and love. Umbrella. And a little message scrolled on it. So that's probably the biggest nod to fans out there, that this is part of the actual Resident Evil series. Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, honestly, if you were at my house right now watching me play this, you would probably be like, hey, what are you playing? What game is that? Because it doesn't look like Resident Evil.
I know who you are.
Who are you?
You have the power to choose, but the outcome of that choice may not be what you expect.
Okay, bye. And like I said, it does sound like Ada. It doesn't sound like Sally Cahill, the original Ada Wong, but it does sound like the woman who played her in Resident Evil 6, whose name I didn't bother to remember because she's not Sally Cahill. Don't even get me started on the constantly changing voice cast of the Resident Evil series. Alison Court, who played Claire Redfield, starting with Resident Evil 2, played her all the way until Resident Evil Revelations 2. And then they got Ali Hillis, who technically is a better voice actress, but I like to stay consistent. I still think Paul Mercier, not the original Leon Kennedy, but Resident Evil 4's Leon Kennedy was the best Leon, and I'd really like to have him back, although there's nothing wrong with Matthew Mercer. He just shouldn't be Leon. And when I say Ali Hillis is a better voice actress than Alison Court, I don't mean she's more talented. I just mean that I've heard Ali Hillis do a lot of things with her voice, play a diverse array of roles, whereas Alison Court, well, you might remember her best as Jubilee from the old 90s X-Men cartoon, but she was also Lydia from the Beetlejuice cartoon. But if you think about it, she sounds the same. I haven't heard her do a lot of things with her voice, so I don't really know what her talent is like. But Ali Hillis has played just a shitload of roles and has done remarkable things with her voice.
I know who you are.
Who are you?
Memories hold the truth. Don't let appearances mislead you.
Okay, cool, but send help if you could. Okay, so I didn't show you earlier, but as soon as you get off the phone and you start walking out the door, you get grabbed by Hillbilly Jack and then punched into sleep again. But we're going to be smarter than that. We're going to actually back out with the axe so you can't fucking do that. That is how you answer the phone and then get back down to the back door to see the ending, which apparently there's more than one ending, but they all consist of getting hit by Hillbilly Jack. Because I haven't seen it end any other way. That's just what keeps happening. I could definitely be wrong on that because I haven't looked up all the endings or anything, so I don't know for sure. But on the subject of returning characters, the other controversial thing about Resident Evil 7 and the direction they're going is the new character that you're going to be playing in the actual game is supposed to be an original new character, and that hasn't happened in a very, very long time. A lot of us just assumed that if only one character would be returning in the next Resident Evil game, it would be Jake, Wesker's son. But what Kawata-san has said is that, the characters of the other games are just too awesome now, and they are. Think about it; they're just too badass, and Jake himself is just too badass. So, in an effort to bring back the horror, they're giving us a whole new protagonist that doesn't have the kind of experience that Chris and Leon and Jill all have. Now, what I think would be really cool, although I have my doubts that it'll ever happen, is if they were to bring back Mr. Billy Cohen himself. Think about it. It's kind of a nice compromise. He has not been with the BSAA or the government the way Chris and Leon has been. He's just been a guy who is on paper supposed to be dead, and he's just trying to lay low, so he doesn't have the kind of bioterror experience that the other characters from Resident Evil have. He's just a guy trying to, make a living. Plus, think about it. When we saw Leon Kennedy again in Resident Evil 4, we hadn't seen him since Resident Evil 2, which there was a 2-game gap there. There was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and Resident Evil Code Veronica. And we didn't get Resident Evil 4 for years, so it was cool to see Leon again and what he was up to. That would be just as awesome to see Billy again, just being a regular guy who hasn't been fighting, ever since Resident Evil 0. He's just been laying low, and to have him come back would be the shit. It's also, it's not too much of a long shot either, because they brought back Sherry Birkin, and she was a 12-year-old in Resident Evil 2. It was nice to see her all grown up in Resident Evil 6.
Sherry Birkin, National Security.
Sherry Birkin, you were in Raccoon City.
How do you know that?
Claire,
Wait, are you Chris?
my sisters told me all about you.
But if we are going with an all-new character, I hope they give you the choice between 2 characters, just like the original game, male or female. Because Nakanishi and Kawata-san have both said that they are bringing back elements from the early games, early games. I mean, I can already tell just by the inventory, it's similar. They have confirmed that the herbs will be back, so mixing herbs are going to be back just like the old days. And no word yet on an item crate or anything, but the elements are supposed to return, they've said. But the other thing that, starting from scratch like this does, because they haven't done something this ballsy since Resident Evil 4, and yeah, at first the new camera angles sort of bothered me, but I got over it quick because that game kicked ass. This game, I think, will do the same thing, because it has, the thing about Resident Evil as it was is everyone already knows about Umbrella. Everybody knows about the T-Virus. Everybody knows about the zombies. It's not scary anymore. When we were young in '96 and we played the first game, we didn't know shit about the zombies or the monsters or who was behind it. Was it a paranormal, supernatural event? Was it, was it a virus? We just didn't know. And this game is doing it all over again and giving even those newer gamers, those newer fans of Resident Evil, a taste of what we got back in '96, because we know nothing about this new Resident Evil 7. We don't know what kind of enemies they will be. We don't know what lies ahead. And having that feeling back after all this time, after all these years, and putting it in the first-person perspective, just it makes sure that this is happening to you. There's no defense against the monsters on screen. There's supposed to be fewer enemy encounters, but they're more meaningful, according to Kawata-san. Who, man, he just has the most ethnic name. He is the Benedict Cumberbatch of Japan, to be sure. Anyway, that's what he said. There's no defense, and then not being able to just see what's around your character is also going to add to the horror in a way that even those fixed camera angles from the classic games couldn't pull off. So yeah, I'm super psyched for this game, and if you're like me and you really need some sort of new Resident Evil fix, Umbrella Corps is out now. It came out Tuesday. It seems like nobody even knew about it. It is not a traditional Resident Evil game. Definitely for more of the Call of Duty fan. It's basically Call of Duty Zombies, but with an extra twist. And it's pretty fun. And it's only $30 unless you get the deluxe edition, which is $40. But deluxe edition includes skins for so you could be Leon, Chris, Barry, Wesker, Jake, all the men, basically. There doesn't seem to be a way to pick your gender, which kind of sucks, because, girls play games. Not all of them are paid by IGN to play games just because they're hot. Oh, what? Did I go there? Yeah, I sure did. Nah, I'm just kidding, IGN girls, call me. Where were you when I was young in my prime, is all